Okay, so part 2, which is the second action, creating a question bank. How do you create a question bank? To create a question bank, what you need to do is come here on quizzes, click on quizzes, and when you click on quizzes, there's a window that will open. As you can see right now, I don't have any quizzes. Now come here. When you come to this section of the settings, there's a drop down, a small arrow here. Click on it. It will open this saying manage question bank. Click on it. It's going to open a new page. And if the page comes, as you can see here, there is nothing in this question bank. So now what do? We add a question. Now remember, for you to come up with a question bank, use the course outline or the specifications that we talked about. So the first thing it will want here is for you to put the name of the question bank. Assuming I am doing lecture 1 question bank for essays, I will type here lecture 1 essays. And once you have typed the title there, enter. That is important. Once you've typed the title, hit on enter on your keyboard. And that way, the computer has taken the command, and what it has done, it has created lecture 1 essays question bank. I want to create a second question bank for MCQs. So I'll come here, add question bank. It will come empty, it will want a name. So write the name, lecture 1 MCQs. That is supposed to be the bank for MCQs. And then remember what we said. After you finish writing the name, hit enter in the keyboard. It has created the bank. I want to create a third one for short answer. Say add question. And once you say add question, we write here again lecture 1. This one I want it to be for only short answers. Okay, and after I finish typing the title, hit enter onto there. So now what we've done here is to create a question bank, but the bank is empty. Why is it empty? There is no question here. It says no questions. The other one says also no questions. And the other one also here says no question. So what do we want to do now? We want to populate each bank with the questions. So I'll come to lecture 1 and click on lecture 1. From my course outline, I might have decided to have 2 questions of essays in this question bank 1. So what do? Once I open there, I say add a question. Now, as the question will be added, I also want to see the details of the questions that I'll be adding. So just click there. You'll be seeing details later on. So when you come to this section here, ignore here. Do not touch this. Leave it as it is. The reason you are saying you leave it as it is because the system is going to shuffle the questions and it will overwrite anything you write there. So leave it. So what do? You click on this and drop it down the box until you say you're going to create essay questions. And remember, essay questions have marks. So you allocate the marks there. So once you have allocated the marks, hit undo. Okay, so sorry there, I didn't write the question, so I can easily edit it. To edit, in case you make a mistake, just click on this pencil, say edit question, and I go back to the question. I forgot to put the question here, so the question is what is, it's an essay, describe corona. So once you finish and you're happy the marks are there, this one has correctly been set to essay, the question, leave it as it is, just say update. So you'll do the same thing to add another question. Just click on add a question, make sure that that one remains as it is, just without a number. Here make sure you drop down to essay, it should read essay, and then you allocate the mark, and after allocating the mark, on this other end here, describe curfews and update. So at that point, if I want to go back to my question bank and see how many questions are there, just click on top here on question bank, and it will take you back to your question bank. And as you can see here, the essay has 2 questions. So now it is populated with 2 questions, and you can keep on adding as many essays as you want. Now I want to add something in the essay bank we are calling MCQs, because right now it is empty, it has 0 questions. So click on that lecture on MCQs and allow to show details as you are working on it. Then click add a question. So on MCQs here, remember you'll have different choices here. If you want to do a multiple choice, and by multiple choice, remember we are asking ourselves here, I am, or Mary is a. So once you decide this is going to be multiple choice, remember just leave it there. Come here, say it is multiple choice. On the drop down box it's multiple choice. Decide how many marks you are allocating. Most multiple choice is just 1 mark. Then here is where you put your answers for multiple choice. So here you say Mary is tall. The other option may be Mary is short. The other one is Mary is blind, or Mary is handsome. So in this instance, this area you are seeing here where we've been putting, this is the questions, these are the answers where you'll have said A, B, C, D. Do not put any A, B, C, D inside here, just directly the answers themselves. And then, so that this becomes the marking scheme in the system, remember to point here to the right answer. So assuming Mary was short and the right answer is supposed to be short, you will see this item becoming green against that answer. That means that you are prompting the system to recognize this should be the correct answer, and any student who will pick on the answer short, the system should award them a mark. If they pick any other option, they get it wrong. So automatically the system has been prompted here to mark this answer here as being correct. And once you finish with the question, just update. So you'll see this is the question. Mary is blah blah blah, ready. And if you happen to have made a mistake, remember to edit it. Just click on edit and you can rectify, including if, for example, you gave the wrong marking scheme. Suppose the true answer was supposed to be blind and I want to change, then I can easily edit there and update it. So that is what you'll be doing for a multiple choice question that you've created. I want to add another question, and this time I want to add in a true and false question. So using the same, Mary is blind. That is the statement. And remember, on this section, I want it just to be true, false. Ignore that part of the question. Make sure you drop down here. The marks here has to be allocated. And now what do I want to do? With the true and false, you'll have to pick here and show which one is supposed to be correct. So if Mary is indeed blind and the answer is true, make sure you click on that. So the area that becomes green, it means in the system you have set the marking scheme that this statement is true. Any student who picks on true, the system will award them a mark. If a student picks on false, it will mark them as wrong. So the marking scheme has set where this thing turns green on true. So you have to click on it to make that to be the marking scheme for that question. And you update. The next question you want to add one more question. And this time, we want to add a fill-in-blank question. So the fill-in-blank question is Mary is dash 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 dash. This time it's not multiple choice, they have to fill in. It means in the system it's going to create a box where they will write. Or even better, let me not use that. Let me use a good example. Here is my university is called dash 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 dash. So they are supposed to write there. So when it comes to down here on the marking scheme, you have to give the system all the possible answers a student may write. Why? Because someone may write, for example, the answer is Kemu in small. That may be the first option. So you're telling the system, if it sees Kemu with a small, to a word. Another person may write Kenya Methodist University in full. Another individual, I'm going to add here a question. Second, add a question. For another individual, the system, you want to tell the system, if he writes in capital Kemu, then still award them a mark. Now remember, this is the problem or the variations with filling blanks. Different students may write it in different way, and you don't want to deny the student a chance or a mark simply because of a misspelling. So what you want to do is just to prompt the system on the very possibilities. So when you're using filling blanks, just use the right precise parts so that you minimize on creating a lot of. So here we know the answer is supposed to be Kemu, but it could be Kemu in small, Kemu in the whole the whole of it written, or in capital. So we are telling the system any of these variations, when you come across them, just award the student a mark. I want to add another question. And the question we are going to add here is multiple fill-in blanks. Multiple. So in this instance, what we are saying is we are going to use an example. John is dash dash dash. Mary is dash 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 dash. So in the dash, we want the first answer to be there. Always see there's a place here where it will prompt you on how to set it in case you get lost. But the important is make sure you have this square bracket. Create a square bracket and say the first answer should go there, and close it with a square bracket. It has to be a square bracket, not any other. Then go to the second answer, open it with a square bracket, say the second answer should go there, close it with that bracket, and now the system is recognizing there are going to be multiple areas they will fill. So it will give them a space to fill two answers. So then when you come down to the marking scheme, it is asking you here, number one, what are the possible answers on Mary is? If the answer is that John is male, you write there the marking scheme that they are supposed to answer is male. But remember, just like the other one which was filling blank, somebody may write male in capital and it should be they should be awarded a mark. Another person may type, so here it is telling me please add at least one non-blank answer. Okay, so the next thing that is asking, I go to my second part, and here I will also again say for the second part, so for the second answer, it is also asking you put there a marking scheme. So the system will not allow you to leave without putting the marking scheme. So this is supposed to be male, but another student may write male in capitals. So remember the variations. It applies to fill-in blanks, whether it is a single fill-in blank or multiple. And once you're done and satisfied, so the answer for number one you've set should be male with all these variations of writing. The second answer for female, you've written it female of course with the variations, and you update. So that is how you'll be updating all the questions you want. So the second part, let me add one more question just to tackle all the different variations. This time I want to add another question, but I want to add a multiple answer question. So in this instance, there will be two possible answers to it. So suppose Mary is, and in this instance, Mary, she is short and she is also brown. And I want to add now distractors. She is tall and she is also dark. Those are the distractors. The two answers, once you do this, it means the student will have